Hello everyone, my name is Dusk and welcome to another episode of Talon's Video Guide. In this guide we're going to talk about the stats in Diablo 3. If you guys are familiar with the stats from Diablo 2, feel free to skip this video, although there are some new changes to the stat system, so you guys may want to stick around for that. Either way, it's up to you guys. Anyway, we're going to pull up the item menu to go to the stats. So you press I, and that will show you your attributes. Change from Diablo 2 is that obviously you can't really put points into your attributes anymore. It just automatically gives you them per level, and it basically levels up your primary attribute the most. So Barbarian, for example, gets strength the fastest, and he also gets quite a bit of vitality. Demon Hunters and Monks get dexterity the fastest, and obviously the Wizards get their Wizards and Witch Doctors get their intelligence the fastest. And so this all affects their damage. For example, the Barbarian, by adding strength, you get increased armor, and you also get increased damage by the same amount. Conversely, by adding dexterity, you get increased damage for Demon Hunters and Monks, and also increases your dodge by 10% of that in percentage. In intelligence, it increases your resistance and also increases your damage for Witch Doctors and Wizards. And finally, vitality gives you life, just straight up life. So barbarians have a lot of that, while while all the other classes have less. I think Monk has the second most. So now if you click on armor, it shows you that basically having more armor, it's going to be different from Diablo 2. And armor in Diablo 3, it reduces damage, so you basically get hit by everything that's you're not dodged, and you dodge a low amount, but you get hit by everything that you're not dodging, and it just reduces your damage. And so there's going to be exponential decay as you get more and more armor, but I assume that this will probably go up to 50 or 70% depending on how good of an armor you'll get, or how good of an armor they release. And so if we take a look at your damage, this is actually quite interesting. Your damage is actually based on your primary weapon, but it's also based on if a barbarian has a second weapon, and this is the same for a class such as the monk. So let me see if I can actually go find a secondary weapon. Shouldn't have sold all of them, but your damage is based on your primary weapon, and then if you get another weapon, let's say it's got 14.9 damage as well, this is going to go up very little. It'll probably go up to 22 or 23 damage. It's not going to double it, and this is basically damage per second. And so one thing you guys should watch out for is that if you have big weapons like a polearm or a two-handed sword compared to a dagger that attacks very fast, they may have similar damage per second, but you really want to watch out for the attacks per second. And so if you have a big weapon, it's gonna have something like a 1.6 attacks per second, and then that's gonna allow you to hit much harder with something like Hammer of the Ancients, but it's also gonna make you kill enemies a lot slower if you already one-shot them with a normal weapon. So you guys should probably watch out for that. Let's see if I can buy a cheap weapon. I think I can go craft one, actually. Give me 1 sec. Let's see here. Craft weapons. Alright, cool. Oh, I don't have enough gold. Alright, anyway, let's go into the details right now. And so this is going to pull up basically all the stats you'll ever need to know about your character. Movement speed is straightforward. Gold find is basically, you know, how much gold you find. Magic find is the same from Diablo 2. Bonus experience and bonus experience per kill. Bonus experience is experience by a percentage, while bonus experience per kill is a flat bonus you get for every single kill. For Barbarian, you get maximum fury. This can be increased by one of the Barbarian's passives, so that's pretty cool. That's the resource that Barbarian uses. And then all of these, life, maximum life is obviously how much life you have. This is going to be a bonus percentage to your life. This is how much you regen life per second. As you can see, Barbarian has no innate life percentage regeneration. And so how you basically get this, how you get life regeneration, or how you get sustain over time in Diablo 3 is basically based on you guys picking up those health globes and using your Q, or your minor health potions. And these health potions do have a cooldown, so you guys should keep that in mind. But this is your life per second. You're gonna have none when you begin with. You really need items to boost this, or skills. Life steal obviously is the percentage of damage that will be recovered as life. So let's say you do 100 damage and I have a 1.1% life steal. That means that I'm gonna get 1.1 life for every time I attack if I do 100 damage. Now, and this is life per kill, so this is gonna be a flat life that you get every time you kill an enemy. This is life per hit, and so every time you get hit by an enemy, that's how much life you're going to get. Now, health globe bonus healing is a health globe gives you a set amount of health, and then it's going to give you additional health based on this. And obviously this is going to be your bonus globe and gold radius. And so what that means is with a larger number of this, you're going to be able to pick up golden globes, the health globes, from a much further distance. Now let's go into defense. We have block amount. This is going to be the damage that the amount of damage you're going to block, assuming that this 14% chance or whatever chance you have procs. So 14% of the time you're going to block 13 to 18 damage. For dodge, this is basically you have a dodge to dodge all incoming attacks. This is going to be based on your dexterity and any other items or skills you may or may not have, and this basically completely negates the damage that it's going to come. Now this damage reduction, we already talked about this, it's based on your armor. Physical resistance is you're going to be able to reduce physical damage by a set percentage based on your physical resistance, and these are going to be your standard resistances that are going to be pretty much the same from Diablo 2. You level them up, you no longer get percentages, you just get flat numbers now, and then that's going to translate into percentages. So I assume there's going to be some exponential decay towards 100% or maybe 75%, just depending on where Blizzard wants to cap it, so that you can't really become immune to any type of damage. And so physical, cold, fire, lightning, poison, and arcane and holy, that's going to be the new one for Diablo 3. You also have crowd control reduction. This is kind of similar to tenacity in League of Legends, if you guys ever played that, but otherwise any kind of impairing effects such as slow, stun, fear, or charm is going to be reduced by that percentage in time. This is also damage reduced by missiles. So missiles, obviously missiles and melee attacks is going to be ranged attacks, and melee attacks are just going to be melee attacks. And thorns is how much damage you're going to be dealing back to the attackers when they attack you, and this is only for melee attacks, not for ranged attacks. And now if we just look at this is going to be your damage increased by your primary attribute for Barbarian Strength, and so because I have 31 Strength, I get 31 increased damage. This is the damage increased by skills. This is basically going to be a passive. If you have any passives that increase your damage, it may also be any kind of temporary buffs that you get. This is your attacks per second, and this is basically based on your weapon speed. So I have 1.3, and then I believe dexterity may give me a slight buff to my attacks per second. I'm not really sure where that bonus 0.05 is coming from. This is going to be your critical hit, and so how critical hit works, if you guys have never played a game that had critical hit, 5% of the time I'm going to be doing 50% bonus damage. These are all base values, and so critical hit chance can be increased by skills and items. I think a Barbarian actually has a passive that increases the chance and increases the damage you do. This can also be increased, and so critical hit is like when you're attacking something and then the health, the number that pops up above them, if you have damage turned on, it will be yellow instead of white, I think, and that'll tell you that it'll critical hit. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now, actually. So if you go to options and you go to gameplay, I always like to display damage numbers. That really helps me gauge how well my weapon is doing, and just to see how much damage I'm doing. It's also pretty interesting. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave in the section below. Otherwise, my name is Dusk, and I'll see you guys later.